Hi guys, so we have in front of us Mr. Umang Bedi, Managing Director for Adobe Systems South Asia. And Umang, if you could just start off with telling our readers what you do at Adobe.
Well, I think I have the best job in the world. Let me begin with that. I think I have the privilege of working for a really exciting company, a company that has been through a metamorphosis and a complete transformation over the last 3 years. It's a transformation in the way we build products and the way we deliver products to the market, a transformation in the way we bill our customers, a transformation in the way we recognize revenue to the street, a transformation in the way we measure our business, a transformation in the way we measure our employees, a transformation in the way we build our pricing models, and moreover, a transformation in the way we engage with our customers, which has been really a
perfect moment. So let's start with the first question. Adobe obviously is, there's no introduction needed for the India market. But Creative Cloud has been around for a couple of years now. How has the Indian response been to Creative Cloud, and if you could share any insights from an India perspective?
So let me walk you back a little bit in time in terms of where we were as a company, why we actually even introduced the Creative Cloud, what was the impact of it globally, and the impact of it in India. So I'll kind of contextualize it in that fashion. So when you look at the 2007, 2008, 2009 time frame, and if you look at Adobe, we were predominantly a company that was in the digital media business. The digital media business, the way we define it, is providing the world with industry-defining tools like Photoshop, InDesign, Illustrator, which really help designers and developers across the globe create the world's most compelling content and applications. Our business was extremely profitable, but we weren't growing very much. Our growth was very small, single-digit percentage points. And we realized that at the same time, while we were not growing, we were almost like the de facto standard of choice for every creative professional out there. And creative output, whether it's video, whether it's web, whether it's online, was exploding. But our business was not growing. So we really had to look within to say what's going on in terms of we are the de facto provider, we are the consumer's product of choice, but our business is not growing. And I think we found three things. The first thing that we found was we were very slow in terms of responding to the changing technology landscape. And what I mean by that is, in the perpetual software world, we shipped a CD, right? Or we shipped a software once in 12 months and at times once in 18 months, right? So take, for example, there's a certain capability that we need to add. We really wouldn't add it as an update. We'd wait for 12 months to get a release out, and that was too slow, right? That was just not cutting the chase. The second thing that we found was around innovation and around mobile. Designers and developers around the world were telling us that mobile today is being used as a device only for consumption of information. They wanted to, break the shackles of content creation and have the ability to include mobile into the workflow, right? And the third thing that we also found was, in our business model, we really weren't growing the subscriber base. We were going back to the same customers and trying to upgrade them across different versions rather than really expanding the subscriber base. And there were multiple reasons for that. There were price point issues, there were piracy certainly was a factor to deal with. And so I think the company went back onto the drawing board to say, we got to change the way we do business. We got to change the way we deliver transformation. We got to be far more innovative. We got to be far more agile as a company. And that really gave birth to the idea of the Creative Cloud. And what the Creative Cloud turned out to be in its first edition and its first mantra was that we took all of the 15 applications, which was a part of Master Collection in those days. They were the favorite tools of everybody out there. And we took the 15 and we put them into the Creative Cloud. We added Digital Publishing Suite, we added Acrobat, and we added a community. And that community was via the Behance acquisition, which was really I would call it the social network for the creatives out there. So we added the community capabilities for the collaboration. We also added the ability to sync, share, and store and collaborate with users across the cloud. And finally, we added content around training with Linda videos and video training on our products, because that's what we heard a lot. People really wanted an easier and a cheap way to get trained and an effective way, and we added support, right? So that really became an amalgamated Creative Cloud. The price point. So for instance, in good old days, if you bought Photoshop, you paid about $1,000, which translates to about 60,000 rupees, give or take the exchange rate. And if you bought Master Collection, which was $2,500 or $3,500, you paid close to 2 lakhs and above, right? And we completely transformed the pricing model to make it bite-sized, far more affordable on a monthly basis and a yearly basis for individuals and small businesses. At the same time, we transformed within the company as well. So we were the first company in the world that I'm aware of where we abolished the internal check-in, the annual appraisal process and stack ranking of employees. We became far more agile. The team started working together because they now needed to get releases out on the cloud every day, if not every week, right? And that's where we changed our model, wherein we moved into a quarterly format of check-ins to give our employees feedback, constant communication, goal setting, so on and so forth. So that's the background in terms of why we actually adopted the cloud and what the cloud really consists of. Now, in terms of the way we built the cloud, I think the cloud was really built for emerging markets like India, and it was a huge benefit. And that's because of the fact that in our market, network connectivity still is an issue, right? And we're seeing that, whether it's internet connectivity or 3G or broadband, I think we have our challenges. And the beauty of the cloud is that the software is not really residing on the cloud. The software continues to reside on your desktop. Once in 30 days, if you're an individual or a small business, the software pings the server at the back end just to know whether you have your subscription that's valid. And if you're an enterprise, it's a trust-based 3-year long-term licensing contract. So the model really worked for India from that fashion. Coming to what's been the reaction, right? So over the last 2.5 years, we launched this in 2012, somewhere towards the second half of the year. So we've really been in market with it for close to about 3 years now. 2.5 to 3 years, and the response has been stupendous. It's been pretty amazing. When you look at, we told the street that we would touch 4 million new subscribers on the Creative Cloud in 3 years, right? We touched that number in little over 2.
Wow.
Right? So we just completely blew the expectations out of the park. Close to 20 to 25% of all the people coming onto the cloud are first-time users, so they didn't have a relationship with Adobe in the past. Now that tells me that the price points are resonating, right, with the user base. The other interesting statistic has just been our growth in the last 2 quarters. So yesterday we made our announcement of our numbers publicly to the street. Last quarter we added about 528,000 users. This quarter we added about 628,000 users, representing a 38% growth quarter on quarter. So the numbers are off the charts. We're seeing a great commitment. Today with the 4 million that I added with the 500 and 600K, we're well above the 5 million mark, well ahead of that. And I think our trajectory to the street is in the next 6 months we'll get to 6 million. And I think there's a lot of positive optimism from the street that I think we'll get beyond that number. So that's in terms of the global numbers. Let's talk about it from an India perspective, right? From an India perspective, it's been a game changer for our business, and I think India has been a unique market. In 2011-2012 timeframe, the creative business was very small in India because the levels of piracy were very, very high, right? It was rampant piracy. Ever since we moved to this model, I think we changed the game. Because today, if you're an individual, you could get Photoshop and Lightroom at 499 rupees a month, right? Now, just 2 cups of coffee in the venue that we're sitting at is going to cost more than 499. So I think the paradigm on individuals, even for small businesses, went through a complete paradigm shift, because even if you paid the subscription for 5 years in a row, it would come to half that value, right? Same way for an enterprise, your predictability of spends, license management became so much more useful. So I'll share with you 3 statistics which are very interesting. 3 years ago, India was, when I look at Asia Pacific is the fastest growing region in the world for Adobe. Today it contributes to 16% of global revenue. And within that region, I would say India was almost amongst the last countries in terms of contribution. Today, when I look back, the tables or the tides have changed. The tables have turned. India today on the enterprise business is the second largest business across Asia Pacific, second to Australia, right? And on the channel side of the business, which is the SMB side of the business, we today are anywhere between first and second at any given point of time. In the SMB space, because we've been touching thousands and tens of thousands of SMBs in India, today we're amongst the top 10 markets in the world for Adobe, right? So when I look at it, we've really gone through three transformative shifts in the way we go to market. First, on the individual side, we now have an Adobe.com India store. And that's pretty helpful because it helps spread the brand awareness. People can buy it online, and we're seeing that uptake, especially with the photography plan at $4.99 a month. I mean, that's really getting popular. The second is on the small business space, and the SMB space, like I said, we're the first to second largest in APAC, amongst the top 10 countries in the world on that business, and we're touching tens of thousands of users. And on the enterprise side, we've almost got contracts with 400 to 500 large enterprises on 3-year long-term contracts in the region. We're seeing a very healthy renewal rate in that business as well. So overall, I would say when you think about the transformation and the growth that we've seen, it's exponential growth in India. From being at the bottom of the pack to being right up there with mature markets like Australia, talks about the fact that I think the team's really delivered an exponential growth number. So to me, to summarize, I think it's the best thing that could have happened to Adobe and to Adobe in India.
Perfect. You touched upon mobile apps, briefly, Umang. So mobile, that's the catchphrase where it's only for consumption, it's not for creativity. What sort of mobile usage trends are you seeing?
So I'll break this up into two parts, right? I'll tell you the other business that we run, which is on fire, is our digital marketing business. Globally, it's a $1.3 billion business, growing at 20% plus across the globe. In India, that business is, we're tripling the business this year, right? I mean, that's literally how fast we're growing. And again, in that business, we're the second largest market in the whole of Asia Pacific. And we power the digital analytics and marketing for some of the largest e-commerce players like Flipkart and Snapdeal and Make My Trip, some of the largest telcos like Airtel. So we have a lot of data. We measure about 32 trillion transactions on behalf of about 10,000 brands across the globe, right, per annum. So what we're seeing, which is pretty amazing, and the Mary Meeker's report from Kleiner Perkins actually references some of this data, and it's in public domain. The first is that we're seeing in India almost 40 to 42% of all transactions across all e-commerce sites are happening on mobile. That's why you see Myntra going app only and mobile only. The second data point that we're seeing, when I look at the leaders, and the leaders are Flipkart and Snapdeal, close to 70% of their transactions are happening on mobile, right? Which again prompts the move. And when I look at what's happening with Uber coming in, and then you have an Ola and a Meru who kind of build similar apps and reach $500 million valuations, clearly it's a mobile-only country. Close to 70% of all internet traffic that comes from India comes from mobile, right? We've got more than 250 million smartphones and smart devices compared to 20 million broadband connections. I mean, so you know where the propensity is. Coming to Adobe and coming to our creative business, and this is the other lens of the whole equation, we found that there is a need that content creators want to have tablets and touch applications involved in the content creation process. So about a year ago, we launched Photoshop Mix, Photoshop Touch, apps like Colors, Brush, a whole bunch of apps, but they were only on the iOS devices, right? Now, we started with iOS because true blue creative professionals love the Apple platforms, right? But the fact of the matter is that Android has kind of democratized the entire game in India, at least, and in emerging markets. To give you an instance, I landed at the airport last night in Bombay, and the message that I got was from my driver. It was a WhatsApp message, and I was like, wow. And when I went into the car, he had a pretty nice big screen phone, and he was using WhatsApp, right? So clearly he was also contributing into the whole process. And we realized that Android is a big market for us. So just yesterday, we launched the Creative Cloud 2015 version. And two of the biggest things that we've changed there, one is the introduction of 15 new apps. All your favorite apps have been updated. They've got new Adobe Magic, which we talk about, and some really cool capabilities. And the Mercury Performance Engine has been boosted 10x, so there's some of the apps are 10x faster. But we've added mobile apps for Android. So we've launched Photoshop Mix, which is an immensely popular app on Android, Colors, Brush, and one more. So totally these 5 apps. And by the way, all of them are free.
True.
So you don't need to be a Creative Cloud paid user. You could use them free as a consumer. And if you do happen to have a subscription, you can then carry your work forward, right? So that's the one big announcement that we made yesterday around mobile, and I'll talk about some of the other announcements as we go forward. But yeah, mobile is big. We're seeing it as a big part of the workflow, and some of the new stuff that we've announced just extends the mobile capability, and I can share that if you want right now.
Yes.
Okay, so one of the things that mobile does is it gives you the freedom of creative expression, but it also brings challenges, right? So you have content being created on platform X, let's say it's iOS, you need it to sync, and when you walk into your office, you want to start off from exactly where you left off, right? And that was extremely challenging. Now think about you starting an image on Photoshop Mix, you open it up on an Android platform, you leave your device, you walk onto another device and you sign in, and that's an Apple device, you want to continue from there, you go into your office after your ride or after your train ride, and you want to start off where you left off on the desktop.
Yeah.
Now that's hard, because what it needs to carry forward is your image, your brush strokes, your color palettes, your swatches, your metadata, your vectors, all of that, right?
A lot of syncing needs to happen.
A lot of syncing needs to happen. So we just launched something known as Creative Sync. It is a signature technology which is extremely intelligent, that really automatically carries forward everything. So you can start on one device and carry forward on exactly where you left off. So that's a big capability that we launched. We already talked about mobile and the desktop apps being refreshed. The two other areas that I'll touch upon, one was our new offering in the global stock imaging market. Globally, it's a $3 billion market, right? And we believe that we are going to we're going to shake up that industry. Fundamentally, 85% of the people who buy stock images use Adobe's products, and 90% plus people who sell stock images create those images or that work on Adobe. So the beauty with Adobe Stock is it's going to be integrated into Creative Cloud. So imagine opening up Photoshop, InDesign, Illustrator, all the CC versions, and there you have an integration with Adobe Stock, right? And you can either buy or you can sell, or you can put it up onto the site for selling. And we're giving 33% of that revenue to the sellers, to the creators, unlike other sites that generally share about 25%. So it's a 40 million repository of images, graphics, photographs, graphical images, illustrations, and we believe that's going to be a huge game changer where we can make a little bit of a dent in this industry. And the last bit that we announced yesterday was some really cool enterprise encryption. Now data would be encrypted at rest and also in motion. The customers can manage their own encryption keys, which is huge. So we're not giving you our encryption keys. You can manage with capability that we've added from an enterprise perspective is actually really cool, because last year when we talked about the Creative Cloud 2014 launch, enterprises said, you know what, the sync, share, and store sounds really good, it's sexy, but I don't open up my firewall or my ports to anybody out there. So we now have the ability to put a storage within your environment, within the company's environment, behind the firewall, and create a private cloud for you within your enterprise. Wow. Right? So that's a big one for us, because it really changes the game and now brings the collaboration capabilities. Earlier then it became a subscription relicensing, but now it's really building that collaboration within the enterprise as well. So those are the top 4 things that we announced yesterday.
Perfect. Now, Umang, all of this Creative Cloud syncing sounds like very massive engineering, enterprise. So could you just give us an insight into some of the backend services that help power the Creative Cloud?
So the way the Creative Cloud has been designed is, I think, from a user perspective, we're looking at complete ease. We're looking at a mechanism in which users can go forward and move through various elements of the cloud seamlessly. So from an infrastructure perspective, we work with Amazon Web Services, right? And we work with them across the globe, and we host some of our software out there. However, there are a couple of things that we take care of on our own, and we spend a lot of time with our digital marketing products. So there's this, we believe in eating our own dog food and drinking our own champagne, if I could put it this way. So the biggest reference story for Adobe Marketing Cloud is Adobe.com. Adobe.com today is a billion-dollar business, and that's the true test in the metal. So while the physical infrastructure is hosted on cloud service providers, right, and we work across the globe, Amazon being our preferred partner, what we find is that the true test is understanding what the users want contextually. So it's really about finding the right customers, bringing them onto the website, understanding who they are and their behavior. Are they a corporate customer? Are they an individual? Are they a photographer or a hobbyist? And then engaging with them with the right relevant personalized content. And finally taking that content and converting them. And then having a way to open up the dialogue with them through regular campaigns to upsell and cross-sell. And finally nurture a long-term relationship on social. So we use every single technology within the Adobe Marketing Cloud first onto this side. On the security side, on IT, I think we are spending a lot of time on core services. So you'll see federated identity management, SAML, SSO support for within the enterprise as well, and of course the two-factor, the encryption, which is customer managed keys, and we actually support 256-bit encryption, which is a little different from internet banking in India, which is at about 128-bit for most of the banks, right? So I think it's been a fair challenge. To say that we've done it overnight is not true. I think as a company we've had to learn the cloud business is not just about selling a software, but it's about delivering an experience, and that experience has to be compelling enough that the customers renew, because without that you have a leaky bucket, right? Which is not ideal in the business. So that's the transformation we've driven internally, that we've moved from being a product company to a services company, and that's the way we look at our business.
Could you also speak a little bit about the pricing strategy for Creative Cloud in India, and do you have discounted packs for different use cases?
Yeah. Pricing standpoint of Creative Cloud, I think it's priced for 3 versions. The first is for individuals, which is prosumers, hobbyists, photographers. The second is really targeted at small businesses, and the third is at large enterprises. For individuals, they can go to adobe.com. Small businesses is through our channel. Enterprises is through a combination of the channel and us directly, right? On the individual side, at a notional level, we've kept the pricing fairly uniform. So the Photoshop Lightroom pack across the world is $999, which translates to about 660 rupees or 650 rupees. We've priced it at $499. So relatively cheaper, right? So it's not too much of a difference, but it's relatively cheaper. So likewise, you'll see on the individual side, all the products are maybe 20% cheaper than the globe, right? 10 to 15 to 20%. The full pack is about 2,700 rupees a month. The big, and our belief is that discounting it any further is not going to help, because it's really affordable now. So people who are really serious about it would buy it. On the SMB side, while we add a lot more capabilities, there are various price points. If you're an existing customer, you get a migration SKU. If you're a new customer, you get a completely different SKU. But the pricing can vary from 15,000 rupees to 60,000 rupees, depending on whether you want it on a monthly basis, yearly basis, and whether you're a migration or a new customer. For enterprises, we have custom pricing, which is deeply discounted depending upon volumes. But the one segment where we are introducing a very aggressive price push is the education segment in the market, and this is to educators, to teachers and administrators, as well as to students. And for them, we just launched something for the first year. They get it at 1,000 rupees a month, every single piece of software within the Creative Cloud. So we believe that's pretty compelling.
Yeah. Umang, if you could just sum up the entire conversation and touch a little bit upon the challenges and opportunities for Adobe India in 2015.
So to summarize, I think at Adobe, the entire transformation that we've driven internally within the company and externally within the market, I think today has become a reference benchmark case study in the world of software in the Silicon Valley, right? We're clearly delighting the customer. We're adding new users. We're growing this by millions of new users, people who are coming to us for the first time. We're making software more affordable. I think we're helping bring down the piracy rates. While we haven't fully solved that problem, but I think we're moving one step positively in that direction by driving affordability and real value for the consumer. The other thing that we're doing is we're listening to the customer. So whether they want Android or whether they want, platform-specific work or a private cloud within their environment, I think we're innovating at a much faster pace, right? And regularly we're refreshing Creative Cloud, the 15 apps. We have a reinvigorated focus on mobile with iOS across iPad and iPhone and Android platforms now. We're working on our Creative Sync technology. We're adding stuff for the enterprise. And we are building the right pricing strategies as well. So clearly, it's been a transformative experience when you look at it externally or internally. And that's really driven by an unprecedented degree of innovation and integration that we've had to drive even within the teams within the company. From the opportunities perspective, I think we've just scratched the surface in India. In my view, there are 48 million SMBs out there in India. It's the largest market in the world for number of SMBs. But when I look at the US with a slightly smaller quantum of SMBs, the SMBs contribute to 47% of the US GDP. In contrast, in India, they only contribute to 14% of India's GDP. So there's a clear need to increase their productivity, right? And when you look at enterprises that are creative, right, tend to have a revenue growth of 10% or higher than the other benchmarks who are not creative, who are not innovative. So very clearly, we see a huge opportunity in the SMB space. We see a huge opportunity in the enterprise space, right? So I think that's one big opportunity. The second opportunity that we see is government. I think government is at a stage, while we have engaged with the Ministry of Passport, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, several state governments like the government of Gujarat, where we have Acrobat running in 20,000 plus villages. But I think that's really scratching the surface. When you think about the government, whether it's a government to government, a G2 government to citizen, or government to business, it begins and ends with a form, right? And who's the world's OEM for forms? It's Adobe, right? And our document technology. And whether it's Oracle or SAP, they actually OEM and license that technology from us. So clearly there's a big need there, right? And that's a big opportunity. The third, and I think one of the single largest opportunities in India is education. When I contrast us to Australia, 5 out of the 6 states, every single student in Australia is given Creative Cloud. They're given the degree to create and really express their creative expression with our tools. We don't do that in India well enough, right? So I think that's a huge, huge opportunity. In terms of challenges, I think the biggest challenge for us is ourselves. It's how we restrict ourselves and how we really grow the market. I think, to me, India today is poised at such a beautiful juncture of growth that we are the oldest civilization, we're the youngest nation. In the next 10 years, we'll be supplying the world our workforce, right? Clearly, because everyone else is going to have an average age of 50 to 60, we're going to be the youngest nation. So how fast can we really grow, right? On the media side of the business. And on the marketing side of the business, while mobile and social are becoming the name of the game, how can we move faster to really power digital experiences for our customers? Because 10,000 people wake up every morning with one dream and one dream only in Adobe, which is changing the world through digital experiences. And we believe that if we execute right, we truly will be the only company on the planet that allows individuals, small businesses, and enterprises to make content, to mobilize that content across different devices, to manage that content, to measure it, and ultimately to monetize it.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Mr. Umang Bedi.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate it.
Very quickly, I have one question. We'll probably put it before this. But what do you think about software as a service in India, looking at the broadband ecosystem? And I mean, globally it's a trend, it's here to stay. What are your thoughts about the India market?
So, if you notice what we've done, in the Creative Cloud, we're really not offering software as a service.
Correct.
It's coming more as a subscription as a service, right? Yeah. But in the Marketing Cloud, it's only software as a service, right? So it's kind of two contrasting models. Now, the reason for that is marketing, we're just measuring clicks and swipes and pins and tags and shares, right? Which is very light data, right? In the creative world, if I had to install Photoshop on the cloud and tell you to use it, that's one thing. Imagine you clicking a picture with a camera of that quality. One image in RAW could be hundreds of megabytes, right? So how the hell do you sync that and store that? So clearly it's the difference in technology, and hence we chose more of a subscription-based model which works in India. My belief, and this is a little more structural, is the only thing holding us back in India is our infrastructure, if you think about it, right? Whether it's our rural infrastructure or our urban infrastructure. It begins with our physical infrastructure, but I think we have an opportunity to leapfrog on the digital side, right? I think we've just scratched the surface. You know, we have 3G, but it works intermittently. We have broadband, but we have very low penetration. We have massive spectrum challenges. I see the government really focused to solve those challenges. That's the way I see it, right? And I also see private players like Reliance and Airtel now talking about 4G. And I'm a 4G user of Airtel in Bangalore. I can tell you that I'm in love with it. It's super fast, right? So I think in the next 6 to 12 months, it will get a lot better. And what I just read about recently, and I think I'll give you the source of the data, but in India, the SMB SaaS market in 2018 is expected to be around $18 billion. That's crazy, right? So, you know, I think infrastructure issues are real, but we are a jugaad economy and we find ways to
get
solve
them.
Yeah, that's my view.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Fesh. Really appreciate your time.